Everything begins with our enigmatic protagonist, who swiftly eliminates a target with a single shot to the head. Meet Agami Haruto, a seasoned professional assassin with a chilling reputation. Exhausted from his gruesome work, our protagonist wonders when he'll get a moment of rest. Unfortunately, he receives an urgent call, assigning him yet another mission, leaving him frustrated by the lack of rest. Glancing at his phone, he discovers his next task: infiltrate the Phoenix Association's forest and assassinate its president, Kimikak. The revelation about the mysterious Phoenix Association surprises our protagonist greatly. Fast forward a month, and we find our protagonist secluded in an international prison, where they place a foreboding bracelet on him. Here, they reveal a grim reality. In 2020, a deadly game was developed for death row inmates, where they are forced to kill each other daily. As we shift focus, a group of prisoners engages in a brutal fight for survival, yet one particular inmate seems to relish the game, finding pleasure in the act of killing. However, his overconfidence meets a swift end when a mysterious figure emerges behind him, sensing danger. Despite his taunts, he falls with a single fatal blow, terrifying the other prisoners as they comprehend the lethal stakes of the forest game. Death in the game means death in real life. The appearance of the enigmatic player who delivered the fatal blow remains shrouded in mystery for now. Meanwhile, we catch a glimpse of a girl hiding in fear, hoping to reduce her sentence by completing the deadly game. Yet, she has never encountered a creature so monstrous in her life. As the beast chases after other players, the girl finds a momentary sense of relief, planning to stay silent in prison to avoid another encounter. However, her safety is short-lived as an unknown figure suddenly grabs her. The subject swiftly drives a knife into her neck, silencing her existence. The reason behind prisoners risking their lives to join this game remains unmentioned until now. They receive points equivalent to the sentences of the prisoners they kill, which can later be exchanged for money and valuable items. The man who just took the girl's life expresses his profound affection for this deadly game, as it offers the opportunity to openly eliminate others while simultaneously reducing his own sentence. It's like paradise to him. Moving away from the scene, we find ourselves in the game control room where a guard meticulously monitors the vital signs and health of the prisoners immersed in the game. It's a harrowing revelation that once a player loses their life in the game, their real body suffers cardiac failure and the bracelet, referred to as the vital ring, is removed from the deceased prisoner while the other players' bodies are eliminated. The vital ring is then passed on to the next participant, who is promptly thrust into the game. Shifting back to the game's immersive world, we encounter a mysterious player who bemoans the chilling reality of the experience, questioning why it had to be so realistic. They never wish to partake in the game, but they seem to have no other choice if they wish to reach their ultimate goal. As they arrive at a location resembling a cemetery, they swiftly enter, discovering a candle that they use to light a cigarette. To our surprise, the protagonist has just entered the game, burdened with a sentence of 500 years. The appearance of a status window surprises him, indicating that the games have evolved significantly. As he gazes at a tomb in front of him, it unexpectedly opens, revealing the corpse of a woman clutching an object in her mouth, identified by the system as a Requiem pearl. Intrigued, he reaches for the pearl but senses the presence of another player. Swiftly, the protagonist evades the attacker and admonishes him for his aggressive approach. The other player questions the protagonist's strategy, suggesting it might be wiser to win by eliminating fellow players. In response, the protagonist reflects on his choices, stating that how he plays the game depends on his own approach and goals. In stark contrast to many players in the game, his motivations transcend the pursuit of points obtained through killing. For him, there is a singular objective: to eliminate the president of the Phoenix Association. This enigmatic organization, Kimikak's, reigns as the most prominent underground empire in Asia, rumored to possess vast resources that span the land. It's through their sinister establishment of the forest game lair that they've amassed immense profits. Sparse information led him to believe that contacting them required completing the game several times. Returning to the present, the mysterious player queries the protagonist about the length of his sentence. Vague memories surface, estimating it to be around 500 years, leaving the other person astonished. Curiosity piqued, the mysterious player delves further, inquiring about the nature of his crimes. With nonchalance, the protagonist admits to a considerable list of transgressions. Despite the gravity of his offenses, the player realizes the protagonist's fortune in earning 10,000 points annually, which, if claimed by ending his life, would make him exceedingly wealthy with a single death. A fervent declaration to clear his own sentence and acquire substantial wealth echoes through the air, expressing the player's ruthless intent to avoid facing the monstrous entity. The protagonist interjects, inquiring if the monster the player fears is the one lurking behind him. Before a response can escape the player's lips, the creature's merciless assault pierces through him. Taking advantage of the distraction, the protagonist quickly retaliates, only to realize that his efforts leave the monstrous being unscathed. Forced to regroup, he readies himself for the creature's subsequent attack, feeling the weight of urgency as he cannot afford to succumb to death now. Undeterred by the looming threat, the protagonist holds steadfast in his belief that there must be a way to defeat this nightmarish creature within the realm of the game. A fleeting recollection of the mysterious girl's possession of a pearl sparks hope within him, an inkling that it might hold the key to vanquishing this formidable foe. The pivotal element lies within the pearl. As the monstrous creature lunged at him, he adeptly evaded its attack, swiftly positioning himself in front of the girl, still lying on the tomb. With lightning speed, he snatched the pearl from her grasp and made a hasty retreat. Just as the girl regained consciousness, she unleashed a furious assault on the approaching monster, skewering it with precision. Seizing the opportunity, the protagonist hurled the pearl at the creature before delivering a single, decisive strike that vanquished the beast. Acknowledging that the number of adversaries could escalate dangerously, he discovered that the graceful lady was an ally of the players, and overcoming the monsters was the key to progressing through the game. However, to his bewilderment, the system remained silent, offering no indication that he had cleared the game. In a sudden turn of events, the girl launched an unexpected attack on the protagonist, catching him off guard. Instinctively, he shielded himself behind another player's body, bewildered by the lack of game completion notification despite defeating what he believed to be the boss. Determined to understand the situation, he opted to confront the girl in combat. Yet the scene shifted, revealing two enigmatic figures observing the protagonist's actions on a screen. Seated in a chair, one of the girls asked Vanessa why she refrained from bestowing an item. Vanessa responded that even as the president, she was forbidden from interfering in the game, a trait that the mysterious girl admired about her. Meanwhile, in the spectator area of the forest game, a multitude of players anxiously placed their bets on the protagonist's survival. Back to the protagonist, he speculated whether the red-haired girl was, in fact, the final boss. However, time was a luxury he couldn't afford to indulge in. Striking with his sword, he was taken aback when the blade shattered upon contact, a testament to the girl's remarkably resilient skin. Nimbly evading her retaliatory attacks, we returned to the spectator room where players fervently prayed for the protagonist's triumph. In the protagonist's mind, a glimmer of an idea emerged, a possible solution to his conundrum. Uncertain of its effectiveness, he steeled himself to test his newfound plan, realizing it might be his only hope for victory. The protagonist asserts that attempting to flee is futile since the relentless zombie will persistently pursue him, no matter where he goes. Unfazed, the protagonist strategizes, leading the relentless zombie girls towards a narrow passage, attempting to hinder their advance. In a daring moment, he speculates that every foe, regardless of their nature, possesses some form of weakness. However, to his astonishment, even after launching a relentless attack, his sword shatters upon contact, leaving the zombie girl seemingly impervious. Undeterred, the undead girl manages to breach the tight space, sending the protagonist hurtling backward. Swiftly landing on the opposite side of a precarious bridge, he seizes an opportunity to cut the rope, causing the zombie girl to plummet into a sea of scorching lava. Left pondering if she can withstand such extreme conditions, the protagonist witnesses her sinking entirely beneath the fiery surface. Finally, a status window appears, informing him that the boss has been vanquished, and he receives a valuable item. Despite their eerie nature, the zombie girls prove to be formidable opponents. Meanwhile, in the spectator room, a wave of jubilation washes over a multitude of players celebrating the protagonist's triumphant victory against the boss. The girls, observing the scene, express surprise at the protagonist's unique approach. The system grants him 1,000,000 points for successfully completing the mission, encouraging him to visit the lobby for sentence reduction. In response, the protagonist promptly requests to exit the game, recognizing the stark connection between the virtual world and reality. He reveals the Phoenix Association's involvement, utilizing a personal satellite to live-stream the game to the underground society and operate an extensive underground gambling house. Back with the girls, they commend the protagonist's prowess, advising him to remain vigilant, particularly regarding Vanessa. Curious about his past, Vanessa questions the mysterious girl about the protagonist's involvement in a certain case, to which she nonchalantly responds that the truth is inconsequential as long as it fuels the game, ensuring she provides ample entertainment for Gammy. As the protagonist navigates through the game's interface, a status window indicates the imminent commencement of the next game, prompting him to carefully select the objects he wishes to carry along. Undeterred by the challenges ahead, he confidently affirms his readiness to face the forthcoming trials. A new challenge arose for the protagonist as he desperately sought fire to light his cigarette. Determined not to face the same issue again, he requested the system to provide him with a cigarette and a lighter, a plea that was swiftly accepted. The next moment, he found himself being transported into the game, feeling an odd sensation as he suddenly materialized in the middle of the vast ocean. Time was of the essence as a menacing shark emerged and launched a fierce attack. Struggling to defend himself, the protagonist's mind raced with thoughts of where the shark intended to take him, coupled with the unsettling realization that his air supply was dwindling. The haunting memories of a previous drowning incident began to resurface. Summoning his resolve, the protagonist shifted his focus, understanding that he couldn't afford to succumb to danger, especially at the hands of a mere supporting character. Engaging in a life-and-death struggle with the shark, his determination shone through as he ripped out the creature's eye, reminding himself that there would be no miraculous rescue this time. Crawling out of the water, he mused on how such misfortunes always seemed to befall him, even noting the unfortunate demise of his cigarettes and lighter. However, his immediate concern shifted as he surveyed his surroundings, perplexed by the new location. The system chimed in, directing the protagonist's attention to the mission at hand, to obtain the mermaid's treasure, ranked at level 5. With 124 players still in the game, he was surprised that this time, he needed only to acquire an object. His astonishment grew upon discovering that 21 players had already been eliminated since the game's inception. Suddenly, a figure appeared from behind, launching an attack on him, only to be intercepted by a shark, catching both the protagonist and the assailant off guard. Perceiving that this shark was different, with no visible injuries, the protagonist realized the presence of multiple sharks and wisely opted to put some distance between them. The game was proving to be an unpredictable and perilous journey, and the protagonist understood that he must tread carefully to survive and complete his mission. Swiftly, the protagonist scrambles up a nearby tree, voicing his frustration at the situation and demanding to know how many sharks are lurking in the area. Amidst the shadows, he notices a lifeless shark and wonders if it's the one he managed to eliminate earlier. A sudden beam of light illuminates the scene as an unexpected attack targets the protagonist. With agility, he narrowly evades the strike, revealing the assailant to be the same individual from before. The protagonist inquires if the shark didn't devour him, to which the man smirks and boasts that he's no ordinary nobody. Perplexed, the protagonist questions the man's identity and how he knows him. The man discloses that while they aren't participating in the game, they can still watch its events unfold from prison, and currently, the protagonist holds the spotlight of attention. He urges the protagonist to accompany him for a conversation. Seeing the man lower his weapon, the protagonist decides to follow, sensing no hostility in his demeanor. As they walk together, the protagonist expresses curiosity about the man's exceptional jumping ability, which the man attributes to an acquired skill obtained by eliminating a specific boss. He then remarks that the protagonist should have gained a similar ability, assuming he didn't bother listening to the game's explanation. Unperturbed, the protagonist confesses to being the type who skips tutorials as they find them annoying, proudly stating that he isn't one to succumb easily to death. Arriving at a revealing moment, the man removes his helmet, revealing that he is, in fact, a woman named Mia. Surprised by the revelation, the protagonist observes that her armor bears the scars of the shark attack. Mia suggests that he can compensate her with the points he earned during the game. Confused, the protagonist inquires if she's asking him for compensation, to which Mia clarifies that the points earned function as the in-game currency. They can be used to purchase titles, armor, and engage in negotiations with other players. However, she advises caution, cautioning him not to deplete all his points before the game ends, as a critical rule dictates that if his points reach 0, he'll be forcibly eliminated in 10 minutes, a crucial aspect he must always remember. Grateful for the advice, the protagonist seeks to repay Mia for her assistance, and queries how many points she requires as compensation. In response to the protagonist's query, Mia reveals that she has been immersed in the game for approximately 2 years. Remarkably, certain areas within the game allow her to replenish nutrients in reality after consumption, granting her the assurance that she won't die as long as she continues playing, unless she faces direct elimination. Curiosity piqued, the protagonist notices something beneath Mia's chair, and as he approaches, it suddenly gives way, causing someone to swiftly hold her with a needle pressed against her neck. Outraged, the protagonist questions Mia's earlier claim that there was no one else around, as a mysterious figure, Katani, emerges and proclaims that he has finally captured Mia, declaring her as his possession. Katani is revealed to be a player sentenced to 130 years. Mia inquires how Katani managed to sneak up behind her, and he boasts of employing the chameleon ability, which he had painstakingly acquired. Introducing the protagonist to her new acquaintance, Mia presents him as Adan Haruto. In response, the protagonist warns Katani to leave Mia be, citing a substantial reward for his head and implying the consequences of attempting harm. Undeterred, Katani dismisses the points system, emphasizing that all he desires is Mia, ordering the protagonist to leave and cease interfering. He threatens that any attempt to approach would make the protagonist responsible for Mia's potential elimination. Acknowledging the warning, the protagonist's attention momentarily shifts as he observes Mia attempting to remove the knife. Reacting quickly, he launches a surprise attack on Katani, urging him to lower his guard, and lands a powerful punch, propelling the adversary backward. In a twist of fate, Katani falls into the water, where a lurking shark claims him as its prey, eliminating him. Concerned for Mia's well-being, the protagonist checks on her, receiving confirmation of her safety. He suggests leaving the hazardous area, but Mia laments that it's too late and implores him to teach her how to use her ability. Assuring him that she only needs a little guidance, the protagonist reluctantly declines, disclosing his unique "see the ending" ability, which enables him to foresee and counter impending attacks. However, before he can elaborate further, Mia unexpectedly kisses him, leaving the protagonist flustered and momentarily speechless. As the story unfolds, the thrilling game continues to blur the lines between reality and the virtual world, promising even more exhilarating and unpredictable encounters for our protagonist. He has to try to say the name of the ability, as it will activate automatically. But at that moment, more players appear, telling the protagonist that if they can kill him, they will get 5 million points. The protagonist tells Mia to step back and rest as he will take care of them. They activate their abilities and attack the protagonist, who dodges an arrow and asks the system to activate the boss's ability, Zombie Claw. The system activates it, and the protagonist feels incredible, eliminating the players. This is the end of the recap. If you liked the video, press the like button and write a comment.